smash them to pieces. Somewhere in the town is a tower that you must keep intact so that we may study how their magics are created. Fail me, and I will have your head on a pike at the gates of Black Rock Spire. The time has come for you to seize control of the orcish hordes for yourself. Blackhand has become foolish in the deployment of his personal troops and has left an opening that you can now exploit. A key outpost in the Black Morass is the core of Blackhand's supply lines, not only to his foremost battle groups, but to his castle at Black Rock Spire as well. The complete destruction of this outpost will disrupt his power base long enough for you to secure his overthrow. The destruction of Blackhand's outpost has left him in a weak position. The Shadow Council, sensing your rise in power, orders the assassination of Blackhand and elevates you to the position of War Chief. A wolf rider brings you news that our best spy, the half-orc Corona, has been discovered by the humans of Northshire Abbey and imprisoned there. She has valuable information concerning new and powerful magics that would aid you in the destruction of your counterpart, King Lane. Trusting no one to complete this vital mission in time, you must find her and then completely destroy the Abbey to protect her secrets. With your newfound magics, the time is right to burn the human occupation from our land. There are 2 human outposts to the south that pose the greatest threat to our security. Reports from scouts near these towns show that the key to your success in this confrontation is to hold back the human forces at their bridges while you strengthen your attack force. The glories of combat will be yours as you personally lead the armies that will reclaim your homelands. You have tasted victory, and the craving for more is upon you. It is clear that one decisive blow to the humans will make the total and complete domination of this race a simple matter. Your spies have gathered intelligence that points to an encampment near the center of the human lands, where their knights and soldiers are sent to train. Although they will not be expecting an attack, they should prove a good fight. The destruction of this site would greatly weaken their forces and etch your position as war chief in stone. None shall survive! The final march to King Lane's home, Stormwind Keep, is at hand. Only 2 pathetic settlements stand in the way of the awesome juggernaut your cruel leadership has created. The humans have proved to be amusing opposition, but the hour of doom has come for them. The complete and utter demolition of the Twin Cities, Goldshire and Moonbrook, will sever the lifeline between the king and his people, making him a figurehead waiting to be lopped off. Stormwind Keep is ours to take! The orcish hordes gather like buzzards to carrion as the moment of destiny is close at hand. A low growl fills the air as your wolf riders whip their savage mounts into a frenzy. The earth shakes as catapults are loaded and moved into position. The fires of the burning rubble about to dance in your eyes as you gaze upon the pristine white towers of Castle Stormwind. White that will soon be washed with the red of King Lane's blood. With his fall, Armor Azeroth will be yours! decimation of the human forces, the sacking of their castle was a simple matter. They offered little resistance once you ran their weak leader through with your warblade and toppled his body into the moat. The taking of Stormwind has kept your warriors in good spirits, and the offerings of gold and jewels that they bring to you are ample tribute to your leadership. Wine flows like blood, and the smell of freshly cooked meat fills you with satisfaction as you begin your victory. The countryside is ablaze with bonfires as groups of battle-hardened orcs celebrate the domination of this land with songs of war and victory. You have finally assumed your rightful place as ruler of this realm and as war chief of the Orcish clans. What new conquests will await you in this place? The Shadow Council has begun to bring you information concerning the lands across the Great Sea that are as yet untouched by Orcish rule. The Warlocks also seek your permission to resume their experiments with the portal, their intent being the subjugation of other worlds. With the power you now possess, your choices are limitless, but these are choices for another time.
As a test of your abilities, the king has appointed you as regent over a small parcel of land. Since we must keep our armies in the field well supplied, you are to build the town into a farming center of no less than 6 farms. Construction of a barracks for defense is also advised, as our scouts have reported orc patrols in the area. The orcs around Grand Hamlet are becoming increasingly brazen in their attacks, and our spies inform us that they are amassing a large army to march against the town. The king is sending you, along with a small detachment of troops, to rally the people and defend the town against all opposition. Black Hand's raiding parties routed, now is the time for us to secure a lasting peace in the area around Grand Hamlet. You must seek out the orcish outpost of Kairos that lies deep within the swamps of Sorrow and destroy it. It has been some 20 months since Sir Lothar, one of the Crown's greatest heroes, led an expedition into the Dead Mines to search for the lost Tome of Divinity. They were never heard from again. However, the Great Knight has recently appeared to the Abbot of Northshire in a vision, battered and pleading for assistance. King Lane has ordered you to lead a detachment of warriors and healers into the mines in an attempt to find Sir Lothar, heal him, and bring him and any other survivors back alive. The Forest of Elwyn is a strategic key to securing the borderlands. An outpost near the southeast edge of the forest will serve as your stronghold. The king has assigned one of his knights to aid you, so that your task of ridding the area of Black Hand's dark minions may be more readily completed. The monks of Northshire Abbey are under siege by a band of warriors that have been convinced by enemy agents to fight against the crown. You will be given a complement of knights to lead to the abbey, which is already under attack. Ride hard and fast, as you must prevent its destruction. When you have secured the abbey and beaten back these treacherous curs, you must then move to destroy the enemy at their source. A raiding party has completely overrun the village of Sunnyglade. Our scouts report that the survivors have been taken to a hidden orcish compound to serve as slaves. You must take a detachment of warriors and rescue the group of peasants that are imprisoned somewhere in the orc camp. Our intelligence confirms that all of the prisoners are together and that you must destroy the enclosure to open a path for their escape. The rebuilding of Sunnyglade is also of the utmost importance, as you will need their assistance in destroying the orcish slavers. A new crisis has arisen that threatens to end the lives of all who would serve the king. The evil warlock Medivh has begun draining the soul of the land itself to increase his dark powers. You must take a party into his tower and destroy him before he summons enough energies to devastate all who would oppose him. Beware his mastery of the black arts, for legend speaks of his ability to command the demons of hell. The time has come to take the battle into Blackhand's own domain. King Lane has ordered a full assault upon the orcs, demanding that this plague that spreads across the kingdom be eradicated. To the east of the borderlands lies the Black Morass, where the orcish hordes make their encampments. You are to lead an army into this foul region and destroy every trace of their dark presence. Runners have arrived and informed you of grave news. King Lane lies dead this day, assassinated by the treacherous Verona at Stormwind Keep. His last command was that you should assume the mantle of war leader and end this battle that has drained the land of its resources, and now its king. Scouts report that deep within the Black Morass lies one of Blackhand's darkest seats of power, the Temple of the Damned. No peasants dare approach the vile temple, and only the bravest of your soldiers have agreed to accompany you on this mission. You must strike boldly and without air, for there will be no reinforcements. Here beats the diseased and malevolent heart of Blackhand's plagued lands. The sister towns of Rockard and Stonard are all that stand between the forces of the kingdom and Blackhand's stronghold, Blackrock Spire. After conferring with your war chiefs, the path to victory lays clear. You must destroy Rockard and Stonard, thereby cutting off all lines of support and supplies, so that the final offensive can be made upon Blackrock Spire. Blackrock Spire stands before us. The skies above the reeking swamp fill with the gathering thunderheads that spell doom for the loser in this final confrontation. Tension hangs like a heavy cloak on your shoulders as your troops prepare for the battle ahead. Above the din and chaos that swirls about the battlefield stands the castle of Blackhand, its gaze sweeping down upon the battlefield where the destiny of the land will be decided. Destroy the stronghold and those who would seek to defend it, and Azeroth will be freed from Blackhand's poisoned grip forever. The fall fall of Blackrock Spire spelled final victory for the forces of Azeroth. With Black Hand slain and their stronghold destroyed, the few scattered orcs that remained were quick to bow before your might. A celebration ensued that lasted for many days and nights, with music and joyous festivities resounding throughout the land. The people of the kingdom have come from miles around to gather at Stormwind Keep, and are delighted by a display of mystic sights and sounds provided by the court conjurers, while being treated to a feast of unequaled splendor. Amidst this celebration, your ascension to the throne is acknowledged by your new subjects, and you are given the honorarium Defender of the Crown. As the evening celebration continues into the early hours of morning, you retire to the sanctity of your throne room. The duty of ruling Azeroth is an awesome responsibility, and should prove to be your greatest challenge yet. Learning the intricacies of court politics alone will be like sailing in uncharted waters. King Lane was renowned for ruling with a fair and just hand, and you resolved to be as proficient as he was. There is also the matter of discovering the exact location where the Orcish hordes entered into this world, and divining a way to end the threat of another invasion forever. But that is a story for another time.
The once mighty army of Azeroth lay among the blackened and charred remains of Stormwind Keep. Those that escaped fled across the Great Sea, bringing tales of the suffering they had faced at the hands of the Orcish hordes. Eager to engage in battle once again, the orcs constructed ships of war to bear them across the Great Sea. The Orcish warriors yearned for the sounds of battle to fill the air, and looked to the far horizon for new blood to spill. Using the weapons forged by their new allies, the humans made haste to prepare for the onslaught. While dwarven cannon were being loaded, others armed themselves with elven steel and mail. United in arms with new allies against a common foe, mankind stands at the shores of destiny and awaits the coming of the Tides of Darkness.
Horde is preparing to launch an assault against the mainland of Lordaeron. Orgrim Doomhammer, war chief of the Orcish hordes and ruler of the Blackrock clan, has ordered you to establish a small outpost on Lordaeron's southern shores. To secure the Zul'Dare region as Doomhammer demands, you will need to construct a barracks and several farms to feed your troops. Your success may help us determine the extent of the pathetic human defenses and what resistance they can offer against our forces. Spies report that a band of human soldiers have captured a war party led by Troll Commander Zul'Jin and have taken them to a secret prison near the township of Hillsbrad. Seeing an opportunity to place these captives in debt to the Horde, Doomhammer sends you to ransom Zul'Jin and his trolls and return them to their own encampment nearby. The war chief believes that this raid upon the unsuspecting prison will strike terror into the hearts of those who would dare resist the Horde. In preparation for a final strike on Hillsbrad, the war chief directs you to begin construction of facilities for the Orcish Armada near the South Shore region. Zul'Jin and his trolls, eager to take revenge upon the humans who imprisoned them, have agreed to aid the Horde by supplying axe throwers and destroyers to assist in defending your South Shore operation. A shipyard must be constructed in order to build our wave riders, and you will need much of the black liquid known as oil to build your fleet. Our assault on Hillsbrad cannot begin until your task is completed. Now that the Armada is well supplied with the precious black substance that your tankers have amassed, Doomhammer feels it is time to make a gruesome example of Hillsbrad. With the aid of new foundry sites that allow you to construct more advanced ships, you may build transports to deliver your forces across the channel to the cowering human settlement. All who oppose the Horde must be taught a harsh lesson. Leave no one alive. The township of Hillsbrad has been decimated, and throughout the human kingdoms, the rumors of impending doom spread like wildfire. War Chief Doomhammer is pleased with your success and has deemed you worthy of a more difficult task. Troubles have arisen in the dwarven lands of Cosmodan. A task force of Stromgarde warriors have laid siege to Dun Modra, a vital staging area for Horde troops. You ought to retake Dun Modra and then bring your forces to bear against Stromgarde's nearby island citadel of Tol Farad. Doomhammer has sent word that the Ogre Mage Cho'Gall, chieftain of the Twilight's Hammer clan, is personally inspecting the refinery at Grim Batal. Cho'Gall and his convoy will be traveling through the Badlands of Cosmodan, and an ambush by Stromgarde warriors is expected. The war chief expects you to safeguard Cho'Gall and his minions through this region. Should he die, your life will be forfeit as well. Cho'Gall reports that the Cosmodan refineries are well maintained and fulfilling their quotas. The Horde will now have more than enough oil to mount a fierce campaign in the lands far to the north. Only the troublesome human defenders of Stromgarde remain to be dealt with before sending the Horde on its next sojourn. The human fleet has captured a group of our transports just south of Stromgarde. Recapture these vessels and then lay waste to their capital. forces have been assigned to an area along the southern border of the Elven Kingdom of Quel'Thalas. Gul'dan, hoping to sow the seeds of chaos among the human and elven allies, has located a mysterious elven artifact near the keep of Cardero. This huge, monolithic runestone is guarded by a human castle on the small island located in the middle of Darrowmere Lake. You must destroy the forces that guard this relic and gain control of the runestone for use by the Horde. With the capture of the Elven Runestone, Gul'dan has been able to warp the power it contains to mutate an entire legion of his loyal and ruthless ogres into wielders of arcane magics. Along with this transformation, these ogre magi have been granted deadly magics and a malicious cunning rivaling that of Gul'dan himself. You are to employ the Ogre Magi in the creation and defense of a fortress at the mouth of Tears Bay, cutting off the human supply lines into Quel'Thalas. Stratholme, the chief source of Alliance oil in the north, is preparing to deliver massive amounts of oil to the kingdoms in western Lordaeron. You must sabotage their refineries and platforms to halt this shipment. Once Stratholme's ability to gather and process oil is destroyed, proceed to crush any and all resistance offered by the Alliance. With the destruction of Stratholme, the Alliance supply lines to Quel'Thalas have been severed. Only a handful of human and elven defenders remain to safeguard the ancient elf kingdom from the onslaught of the Horde. The enchanted domain of the elves has inspired Gul'dan to unleash his most perverted creation, the Death Knights. Born from the corpses of the fallen Knights of Azeroth, these once proud defenders of humanity now serve the Horde in a blasphemous state of eternal undeath, conjuring dark spells of necromantic horror upon their terrified foes. These Death Knights seek to unleash their wrath upon any foolish enough to stand in their way. Northlands have fallen, and now only the western regions of Lordaeron stand defiant before the ultimate supremacy of the Horde. As the Orc clans prepare for their final, massive campaign against the weakening Alliance, the War Chief sends you ill tidings. Gul'dan and his Stormreaver clan have betrayed the Horde and coerced the Twilight's Hammer clan to set sail and search for an ancient tomb said to be buried beneath the waves. An infiltrator under the direction of Doomhammer reports that Gul'dan has indeed raised volcanic islands from the ocean floor and thus has opened a hidden vault. While it is unknown what the Great Warlock has released from this tomb, the War Chief has issued this command: destroy the renegade clans and return with the head of Gul'dan. The hour of judgment is close at hand as the Orcish hordes stand ready to sweep across this domain like a pestilence and seize the capital of Lordaeron. Standing vigilant above the plains like the descending arm of Twilight itself is the Violet Citadel of Dalaran. The Citadel, serving as sanctum and haven to the mages of Lordaeron, is the last barrier between the orcs and their subjugation of humanity. Manifested in the combined magical prowess of all mages within the Alliance, this place must fall for the Horde to conquer Lordaeron. Fortunately, Orgrim Doomhammer has saved his greatest weapon, ready to unleash it upon the unsuspecting Alliance at just this moment. Dragons. The alabaster parapets of Lordaeron's capital loom before you in the distance. The proud, defiant armies of the Alliance stand resolute in their final, fleeting moments. All that remains is the shrill, clarion call to battle and the fulfillment of our destiny. The tides of darkness are now at hand. Victory pyres burn high into the twilight skies covering the ruined capital of Lordaeron. Your success has led Orgrim Doomhammer, war chief of the Orcish hordes, to elevate you to the station of warlord, thus giving you power and the command of your own clan. The Alliance has finally been crushed, with all those surviving being slain and cremated as is dictated by the rituals. At long last, Azeroth and all of its lands belong to the thunderous force known to those foolish enough to stand in its way as the Horde.
Due to your position as regional commander of the Southern Defense Forces, Lord Terenas commands that you raise an outpost in the Hillsbrad foothills. It is rumored that Orcish marauders have been raiding coastal towns in the area, but whether these attacks are part of a greater Horde offensive is as yet unknown. Your outpost is to provide food and information for Alliance troops, and as such, should be a community consisting of at least 4 farms. You must also construct a barracks in order to safeguard the Hillsbrad operation. The mysterious elves of Silvermoon have sent a contingent of archers south to survey the supposed Orcish threat for themselves. Our spies report that shortly after passing through the Alterac grasslands, the elves were ambushed by Horde troops. It is believed that these elves are now being held in a small prison camp near the northwest region of Terran Mill. Lord Terenas, fervently hoping to enlist the elves into the Alliance, has asked that you search for the missing warriors and deliver them to safety. The elves have sent a cadre of archers to assist in your quest. You will also be provided with plans to construct an elven lumber mill and the Sylvan craftsmen to operate it. With the safe return of the elves from the loathsome clutches of the orcs, the Council of Silvermoon has resolved to combine the armies of Quell Thalos with those of the Alliance of Lordaeron. As a show of their support, a mighty fleet of elven destroyers have been sent to help safeguard the Lordaeron mainland. In preparation for the arrival of these ships, Dalen Proudmoore, Lord of Kultaros and Grand Admiral of the Lordaeron Fleet, has ordered that you begin the construction of naval facilities near the township of South Shore. There is some suspicion that the Horde has constructed a secret base near the mainland, so it is imperative that you begin building your defense with haste. Having established some order in the region with a display of naval power, Admiral Proudmoore advises that the time has come to search out the secret lair of the orcs. Scouts report that this base is located somewhere within the Zuldare region of the Channel Islands, just southeast of Hillsbrad. Lordaeron artificers have completed designs for a foundry. With this new innovation, you will be able to construct transport ships that can ferry your troops across large bodies of water. These vessels should provide great assistance in the completion of your task. Although the Horde has been driven from the shores of Lordaeron, it has left the townships of Hillsbrad and South Shore in ruins. It is clear that the war will cost the Alliance dearly. Impressed with your victories against the Horde and the destruction of the Zuuldaer base, the High Command has decided to dispatch you and your troops to the main battleground. The forces of Stromgarde and Kultaras are stationed along the northern border of Cosmodan, fighting to keep the Orcs from advancing into southern Lordaeron. An Orcish outpost nestled near the ruins of the ancient dwarven city of Dun Modra has repeatedly beaten back Alliance troops and ravaged the surrounding farmlands. You must reclaim the nearby island keep at Tol Barad and then launch an attack upon the outpost. Following their defeat at Dun Modra, the Orcs were forced to retreat south across the Fandol Valley to a secondary outpost at Dun Algaz. Lord Lothar, hoping to push the Orcs even further back into Cosmodan, has ordered that you destroy this newly discovered encampment. To aid you in your mission, you will be able to employ knights who are eager to engage the Horde in glorious battle. Scouts report that they have located Grim Batal, the primary base of the Horde's refinery operations in Cosmodan. Seeing a chance to strike a decisive blow against the Horde, Lord Lothar has ordered that you infiltrate Grim Batal and put an end to all Orcish activity there. Once Grim Batal has been destroyed, Lothar believes that the Orcs will have no further use for Cosmodan, thus pulling their forces back to the mainland of Azeroth. Victory could secure the shores of Lordaeron and greatly impede the Horde offensive. Destruction of Dun Modra and the downfall of Grim Batal, the Orcs have completely withdrawn their armies from Cosmodan. While your victories have been notable, the menace of the Horde still hangs over the head of the Alliance. Lord Lothar has stationed your troops in the Northlands to protect the borders of Quel'Thalas. Troubles have arisen in the township of Tyr's Hand, with the local peasant population in a state of minor revolt. You must quell this uprising and then summon the Knights of the Silver Hand to watch over the populace. To maintain order in the region, you must search out all of the Horde forces in the area and destroy them.